to everyone, members of the press, and to everyone out there, the radio land. Today, we have come to present to you a press statement by the National Secretary of the All Liberian Party. You are most welcome. Press statement by the National Secretary of the All Liberian Party, read by Jethro Emmanuel Kohler, Deputy SG for Press and Information. September 29, 2021, at about this time. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, partisans of the All Liberian Party and the collaborating political parties, well-wishers and supporters, fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The attention of the National Secretary of the All Liberian Party has been drawn to a recent press conference by the Alternative National Congress, ANC, held 27 September 2021 at about 2 p.m. At that press conference, the Secretary General, spewed invectives on the president of our political leader of the All Liberian Party and threw disrespectful jibes at the political leader of the Liberty Party, current chairman of the CPB and the Unity Party. Further, the ANC denied its involvement in the alteration of the CPB framework document, whose investigation is ongoing. Mr. Luscious Stowe also declared that ALP request for a recall of the framework and subsequent investigation into the circumstances regarding alteration, going out of the ambiguity of various interpretations of provision of the FA and multiple copies of the framework agreement is without basis. The ALP terms the ANC's querying outburst and lewdly and profanely indecent. I repeat, the ALP terms the ANC querying outburst as lewdly and profanely indecent. The ALP remains a mature and serious political party that will not get involved in activities that have no merits but are only geared towards misinforming Liberians and sowing seed of discord within the CPB. Never in the history of the CPB have we witnessed such disrespect and wanton disregard for political leaders in elders, especially by a sisterly party purporting itself as agent of change. Lastly, we wish to remind the Liberian people that the ANC outburst is intended to undermine the ongoing investigation of the FA, which is the framework agreement. This you will recall is ANC's usual charade of diversionary tactics whenever it is involved in an unwholesome behavior. It is a known fact that an illustrious store criminally notarized a photocopied version of what was purported to be the framework document of the CPB and submitted same to the National Election Commission, NEC. In order to cover up this grave action of dishonesty, we are not surprised that ANC chose not to address this issue during her press conference, but chose to dwell on smear campaign of misinformation and character assassinations. Up to date, and upon the request of the CPB chairperson, Alexander B. Cummins, and the ANC have failed to produce the original copy of the framework agreement. They continue to masquerade with photocopied versions of the FA, which is the framework agreement. That is why we are kindly asking loudly, Cummins and the ANC, where is the original copy of the FA you claim we signed? But the ALP wishes to emphatically state that it stands by its call for an investigation into the FA, and it will not be deterred by unsubstantiated lies. The ALP will make available all of its facts to the investigative committee, and we will assure the Liberian people that there will be no business as usual regarding this matter. However, in this era of information dissemination, it is necessary to correct some of the falsehoods provided by the ANC. The ALP would like to categorically deny or correct the following misinformations. that there were no alterations in the framework document, which is currently under investigation and allegation by the political leader of the All Liberian Party, unquote. And he termed that as evil lie against Kume and a propaganda intended to harm and devalue the CPP. The ALP response. The ALP believes that very strongly that there was deliberate procedural violation and the content of the document was manipulated in several different ways. With facts we have in our hand. Noticeably, we stand by our statement dated August 18, 2021, and await the outcome of the investigative committee's report, which is scheduled for the Friday, the 1st of October 2021. We believe that we will be vindicated and the Liberian people will know the true culprit in the CPP. On the ANC in their press statement, on June 23, 2020, a legal committee made a presentation in the presence of political leaders after we asked their assistance. Yes, the ALP respond. It is true that the CPP sought the assistance of legal luminaries to assist in the process of which they did, and changes were recommended. I repeat, changes were recommended, not made in the document. Recommended, and were subsequently presented to the CPP in a meeting at the Liberty Party headquarters. What is not being told is that the entire document was to be rewritten and presented back to the CPP for the constituent political party to review and seek approval from their various executive committees. After which, the document should have been presented to the political leaders for their signatures. This was never done. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the ALP would like to make it categorically clear that its political leader, Honorable Bernard Wilfred Ure, is not on any sanction list in the world as spilled out by the Secretary General of the ANC. We challenge to anyone to bring any proof contrary to the above. Secondly, we would like to inform the Liberian people that Mr. Bernard Ure never participated in any war in Liberia. As a matter of fact, Mr. Ure fled Liberia like many Liberians and went to Sierra Leone and resided there for 6 months and moved to Africa. Yes. Subsequently, he worked with the African Development Bank for years until he returned during the interim government of Professor Wetton G.S. Sangawolo. It is regrettable that people who should have standards and morally upright would blatantly lie on the international community and try to mislead the people of Liberia. In a UN Security Council press release dated 23 December 2013 and quoted SC/1122-9, which copy will be presented to the press. The Security Council Committee established pursuant to Resolution 1521, 2013, concerning Liberia, decided to delist some individuals from the list of individuals subject to the travel restriction imposed by paragraph 4A of the Resolution 1529, 2013, 2130-2013. The travel ban list and the list of individuals or entities subject to measures imposed by paragraph 1 of the Resolution 1532, 2004, the access-free list. The measures no longer apply to Mr. Bernard Wilfred Ure, the political leader of the All Liberian Party. Please see a tab. Copy will be given to the press, and then we'll also urge you to go and read the UN Security Council resolution mentioned above. The ANC quoted some of the TRC recommendations, including Section 9.9, which talked about economic crimes and inhumane treatment, and other sections that Mr. Ure was indicted for. Again, the ALP wants to emphatically clarify that its political leader, Honorable Bernard Wilfred Ure, was only recommended for further inquiry. This is another attempt to delude the people of Liberia about the TRC's report that Mr. Ure was indicted for inhumane treatment and economic crimes. We want to inform you that Mr. Ure was never indicted, but was called in person as a person of interest to explain his role during the civil crisis, which has been done on several occasions. Mr. Ure is willing and prepared to go before an established War and Economic Crimes Court to prove his innocence, and the ALP encourages Liberians to exert more efforts towards the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia. We have nothing to hide. In their obscure endeavor to imagine being involved things, the ANC said Ure and others wanted to use the June 7 protest to remove President Weah. Again, we want to remind the attention-seeking political party that this is untrue and such information is distasteful and unwelcome. In the June 7 protest was screamed and unwelcome. The June 7 protest was strictly planned by the Council of Patriots, subsequently supported by many Liberians, including political stakeholders, amongst which Mr. Alexander B. Kumen and one of his representatives, Honorable Yeke Koluba, and other stars of the ANC were all part. Are they saying that they were all part of the coup, as stated by their press statement? A point to ponder. The theme of the protest was never subversive, as claimed by ANC, and the ALP as a responsible political institution would never be part of any unconstitutional act. That is why we are calling for the investigation into the accusations surrounding the $180,000 United States paid allegedly by a constituent party to subject the people of Liberia to session. We want that investigation to be done. We urge the chairperson of the CPP to speed up the commission and investigation into this matter. The truth of this matter. In conclusion, the ALP remains a responsible political party that is committed to the collaboration which the Liberian people see as their last hope. We will never go against the people of Liberia as a political institution. As such, we patiently await the committee's report in the investigation surrounding the alteration of the framework document. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is signed on today's date by the National Secretariat of the All Liberian Party. So thanks.
Thank you very much. So we will take. Okay, we take rounds of caution, beginning with 5. 5. We start with you. Which other institution are you from? You state your name and your institution.
Thank you very much. My name is Sekou Aminata Kone. I report for Strong FM and Strong TV. I want to know, since when your political leader realized that certain provision within a framework document was authored by ANC political leader, do you care to disclose the provision within a CPB framework document that was allegedly authored by the political leader of the Alternative National Congress?
Okay, we'll take it one more, right? Okay. For that, the investigation report will be the investigative team report will be up on Friday, and the ALP, our evidence have been adduced. We have it in our hands, and that will be given to them just as they call us. But as we speak, we have all of our documents with us that indeed there were alterations in the document, and it's proven beyond all reasonable doubt. But we are waiting on the investigative committee, and we will urge the chairman of the CPB that said information be made public so that we can be vindicated as a political institution. So that's what we can be able to tell you.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Jibaka-Kaswa, and I report for the Independent newspaper. I have a confusion because I cover the ANC press conference and part of exhibit, part of evidence, the National Secretary and General of ANC presenter was an audio clip in where your political leader requesting your Mr. Ben admitted that yes, indeed, 4 political leaders signed on the amendment. How do you reconcile that?
Yes, this is what happened, right? First of all, it is an excerpt and edited version or edited video. That's one thing you have to know. Take that into consideration. Then another thing is that my political leader with the 4 political leaders signed a May 19, 2021 version of the framework document. After they all agreed that said document be sent to the lawyers for revision, there was a turnover note which had recommendations from the lawyers. And based on those recommendations, the political leaders agreed that said document be rewritten and forwarded back to a constituent political party in hard copies so that they can review it, making sure that everything is being in concert. Then thereafter, the constituent political party will send their copies to their political leaders for further signatures and then forward it to NEC. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
So in connection to this entire, first, my name is Peter Boyiga. In connection to the entire, allegations about Mr. Cummings' refusal of submitting the framework document, I covered the ANC.
Original.
I covered the ANC press conference during the week, and the Secretary General, stated that on September 13, 2021, Mr. Cummings did present to the CPP chairperson, Madam Yombi Kanga Lawrence, a copy of the original framework document and submitted to the National Elections Commission. Is that true?
Okay, then we will revert and go back to Madam Yombi Kanga, Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence, chairperson of CPP, recent statement. In her recent statement, she made it very clear that Mr. Alexander B. Cummings had been asked to send the original copy of the framework document, but he has refused on numerous occasions. So that will answer your question, I guess. So it means that it coincided with what we are saying here.
The reason I asked this question, I'm taking consideration the time factor. This entire framework, document of Mr. Cummings, refusing to submit it, started from July, June, July, August, and the ANC Secretary General presented a fresh date, September 13. And if you look at communication that came from the chairperson, Madam Yombi Lawrence, she stated in July and August, requesting Mr. Cummings to present the framework document he submitted at the National Elections Commission. But then now the Secretary General is saying that this month, September 13, he did present to the chairperson.
Amicably to resolve this thing again, I would ask you to go online, Madam Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence. She wrote just 2 days ago, which will be September 7th, stating that the request for September 7th, that said that ANC gave the original copy of the document has been forfeited, has not been done. So that verified or substantiated our argument.
So we're the
Thank you. So
Any other question?
My name is Anthony J. Fang, and I report for ABC Radio. I'm concerned with your statement distancing the ALP from mobilizing 180,000 for Liberia to be sanctioned. You said the ANC is not part of it. But then the allegation is some constituent members of the CPP are mobilizing that money. Are you confirming to us that some people in the CPP are doing so, but the ALP is not part?
No, we are saying that there will be an investigation done. But we can tell you that because the news came up from Front Page Africa and so and all the media outlets that indeed CPP did this, right? We are saying ALP is not aware of anything. But we are asking that the chairperson, Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence, goes on with an investigation to establish whether somebody within the CPP had done this. But we, from the ALP, have no connection to such.
Is there any semblance of that in the CPP that you see?
The fact that it came in the news, let's investigate it. ALP want investigation.
Yeah. I'm Yekezi Joel from Spoon FM and Spoon TV. My question is that do you think it is logical to file a lawsuit with maybe the Liberian National Police that you were on a broad day robbed by a robber without any, physical injury consciously, but then not telling the police what they took away from you or what they were successful in taking away from you. Do you think is logical? My question is in relation to your political leaders' claim that the framework document of the CPP was altered.
Thank you very much. In the original copy, the one signed by the political leader, right? Section 12.1 stated clearly that any constituent political party with a controversy or complaint should duly write the chairperson and then lodge or officially complain to them, and a committee will be set up to investigate that complaint. When I heard people tell you that the ALP did not state an article or a session that was authorized, they mean that it considered null and void. That is the point we come from. There is an establishment in the framework document that states that section 12.1, it says that any complaint, if you have complaint with a sister party, go through the procedure, right? Officially write the chairperson and they will investigate. Have you wondered why there is an investigation going on? When ANC made everyone the public to understand that we did not have any specific, so it was going not to be investigated.
According to your previous statement, sorry for the interruption. According to your previous statement, you have all of the evidence, relative to that specific provision. So why can't you just provide those evidence, or why can't you just point to those specific provisions that you're talking about in order to make the committee's investigation easy?
No, the committee has already, what they asked to give, because ALP has a representative in that on that particular panel, right? And then what we have, we already gave it to the committee, and they are going. The reconciliation has been done, and it has been proven beyond all reasonable doubt. But we would have the CPP chairperson will ask her very kindly that this information come to the public so that ALP can be vindicated.
Okay, so
so take two more.
Okay, so my name is John Sese, and I rest for 10. In the midst of these controversy, claims and internal wrinkling, are you guys prepared to take this country after President we are tenure?
Yes, we are fully prepared. It's not an easy thing to have 4 political parties coming from diverse political background, have their own individual manifesto to lead this nation, coming together and settle within a period of time. It is not an easy thing. And amidst it all, we can assure you that with the Rickman role, we will reconcile and we'll move forward. Now, you see, our sister party invested on yesterday, right, on our political leader and our party, right? We would have done the same, but we chose not to because of our high level of maturity. And then we chose to just provide information to the public and we move forward. We can show the public that indeed, in the end, we will remain united. But in a given situation where somebody feel I want to leave and chose to leave, how can we say, don't, Tony, if we are in a marriage and I'm not satisfied in marriage, I want to leave? We said, neither do I condemn you.
So take the last question.
My name is Pius. With the event that you just talked about, what sort of injury we are in political leader?
My political leader has a very thick skin at the All Liberian Party. We have been fought many days, so we normally when those things come, we just move on. My political leader, in fact, if it was very strong on him, he would have been the one having this press conference. But he said, no, gentlemen, the Secretariat will show you. He said, yeah, go ahead and respond, and he moved forward. He said, once the Liberian people had given mandate that indeed this is where we stand, this is where we want you, ALP, and the CPP to go. He said he will fight that the hope and aspiration of the Liberian people be protected in the end. That is why he's not deterred by our colleagues doing what they do. He's not deterred.
Is it not living with fear? Is it not living with fear?
No.
Yes, my last question.
Yeah, you should, okay. Yeah.
My name is Elizabeth Yeneke.
So I don't thank you very much.
On that note, we want to again just highlight this. In the country, we realize ritualistic killings.
Amen. You people.